Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to EVE Online, the Citadel expansion. And you may, if you have some experience, you may know what this blue icon is in the background. Co-incorporated reprocessing is currently being anchored. So I decided to just go for it. I wanted a Citadel and I decided let's just get in on this and anchor this baby. So let's warp in within 10 kilometers. I'll show you guys the location. It's right here in the Citadel system, which is a system without stations. And so the plan here at the moment, if we can do it of course, is to slowly try to basically build up the system of Citadel and created a place where Co-incorporated has its stuff. Hopefully maybe even make a market here and things like that. So this is what it looks like as my Astrahus is being deployed. I put it really close to this planet, which I think is pretty damn cool, and the end dock will give out straight towards the sun, but also to the first belt of the system. The idea here is to have a reprocessing facility here at first, so that people can basically mine a little bit in the Citadel system, and then they can come here and reprocess that. So even people that don't have a POS, or for whom a POS is not really something that's feasible just yet, they'll have a place to dock, a place to reprocess, possibly put in a cheap hauler, and so they can get going in the system as well. Why do I love the location of Citadel so much? It is right next to Providence, so there is a quick jump into nullsec if you want that, and Providence of course has the unique property that it's friendly to neutrals, so they allow neutrals to come and play in their space as long as you don't start shooting at the local residents. They're cool with that. You can go there to mine, to rat, to do whatever you want, and so it is really the best way for people that want a taste of nullsec but want to remain independent. I think that Providence is the place to get that going. On top of that, on the other side of the Citadel towards Escama, just a few jumps out, is a low sec with faction warfare. So that means that I do think that there will be a market for small ships, for ammo, for guns, for stuff that is used in low sec brawls and things like that. And it's only 8-9. Citadel is 9 jumps, but 8 jumps is Escama from Amar, so it's not even that far from a trade hub either. I like the idea of building up this system, creating an industrial, basically an industrial corporation that is active inside the system, that tries to build it up. That is basically the first phase of the plan, and of course this baby here is a big part of that, the first Citadel for Co-incorporated. Now the anchoring time is 22 hours from recording, so we're past the crucial first 15 minutes, because after the first 24 hours of anchoring there is a 15-minute vulnerability window, and if you are war decked in those 15 minutes, then of course the people that war deck you can actually come here and destroy your Citadel before you had a chance to put in defenses. So that was the riskiest part, but my brother came online as well. I deployed the Citadel, we kept an eye on everything for 20 minutes, and now we should be good at least until Wednesday, until the first vulnerability timer actually happens. What I like about this location, as I've said, I think with the planet in the background it's gonna look pretty cool, but on top of that there is also the asteroid belt right here. So let's maybe do a quick warp in at 0 on the belt, so very short warp away from some resources. If people want to experience mining for the first time, this could be a cool place to do so. And what I like about the fact that this belt is so close, the station, oops, let's reject this for now, but let's also put this guy here so that I can contact him later. So it's still on the same grid, so what I can always do is I can actually go and look at it. There were actually a few people that came by to check out the Citadel, and so that is pretty cool. I can mine while I keep an eye on my Citadel, on what happens around my Citadel. So here for instance is an Occator that is warping in, and I can just go, and once he's out of warp I can take a look at the occutor that is interested in my citadel that is being deployed. I think that that is pretty cool. So you can actually be mining while keeping an eye on your home away from home. For the final part here, I'll show you guys, it shouldn't be a problem anymore, considering that even if someone vortex me right now, the citadel will be in invulnerability mode before the war actually starts. So I will have the time to deploy my defenses, and I'll show you guys what I've got prepared for the defenses of my citadel here, which should be ready here in the corp hangar. So let's go in here, second division. So what I have is I've got fur bulks, which is these 27 make 3 flights of light fighters. I also have 2 rocket launchers. There are only 2 hard points in the Astrahus. Then I've got 2 heavy energy neutralizers, some ballistics, and of course missiles to fire at the enemy, plus some oxygen fuel blocks and some reprocessing facility as well. If I don't get war decked, I'll put everything in. If I do get war decked, it will be only the defenses, and I will see how that works out. But yeah, there you go, guys. The first phase is now happening. The citadel is being deployed. Once that is done, as I've said, I'll put the mods in there, put the defenses in there, get the reprocessing started, and then I'll decommission this POS because it's still a medium POS that costs a decent amount of fuel. We'll get rid of the reprocessing array of the corp hangar and the ship maintenance bay because we won't need this anymore, and so it'll just be a small POS with a few labs, an ammunition, and a equipment assembly array. I'll keep those, plus some defenses as well, of course, just to keep things going. Oh, and I forgot one thing. Maybe they're done, but of course for the mid slots, I have 23 minutes to go here, but I've got ECMs for the mid slots, which I think is going to be the best in order to defend a citadel, right? Annoy them so that they can't apply full DPS. And then hopefully you can keep 2-3 battleships out of the fight at the same time while trying to force the rest of the attacking force out. So it's going to be ECM missiles and 3 flights of light fighters that are going to have to try and defend the citadel for 1 hour during its vulnerability period if I do get war decked. The Tal, you know, it doesn't have a high population, so if someone would want to start a war here, they probably need to move some stuff close by in order to get their preparations ready and stuff like that. It's not like it's such a visible place here just yet. But yeah, let's go visit this one once again here. My Astrahus Citadel. I decided to go for it, although I am amongst the early ones, and people that have been anchoring them in nullsec, in wormhole space, have been losing them, so they are definitely magnets for conflict as expected. There is also one in perimeter, which is of course a really big mistake. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people that jump into Cheetah every day that then see you anchoring one of those citadels for the very first time. So it was very likely for whoever did that they would be war decked within the first 15 minutes. Out here, far away, 8 jumps from the closest market hub, decently far away from the very busy systems. I think you have a much better chance of actually getting your citadel up without being war decked, being able to put your defenses up and things like that. And once that is done, I do think it becomes quite a bit harder to actually get on top of an Astrahus here. But we'll see how that works out, of course. One last thing I do want to mention is that there are no stations here in the Tal, and that is a bit of a risk, but for me it's a calculated risk, right? The number one rule in EVE Online is don't fly what you can't afford to lose. With Citadels, that is extended to don't build what you can't afford to lose, and I'm definitely willing to lose this Astrahus if that's the result of this experiment. But having put this one in a system without station, it means that there is no automatic free asset recovery, because that only apparently happens within system, if I read everything correctly. So what I would need to do is to deploy a second Citadel, and then within 5 days people will have the opportunity to have a free recovery of their assets. But under a war deck, that could be a bit risky and tricky. On the other hand, of course, on the other hand, people can still recover their assets to the closest high-sec station, but at a fee. So that is a risk, of course, that I'm taking here. But again, keep in mind, this is only a medium Astrahus Citadel, so it's not like I plan to put a lot of stuff in here. I definitely don't think anyone should put billions of ISK worth of assets in this Citadel. But the idea would be, if I can then put up a large Citadel, I can keep this medium Citadel in reserve, so that if something were to happen to the large Citadel, I could quickly deploy the medium Citadel, providing people the opportunity to get their assets out for free, which is of course something that people will consider when it comes to deciding on their home in Citadels, once large Citadels are starting to be deployed and once Excel Citadels are starting to be deployed. But yeah, phase 1 is now in full swing. I promise to keep you guys up to date, and so I am. Hopefully everything will work out. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.